Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Central Coast Newspapers Video News. Today I'm joined by Bruce McLaughlin, Independent Councillor for Central Coast Council, and Barbara Gorman from Save Wyong Trees. Two significant things happened at the last council meeting on February 26. The first was the scrapping of the very controversial Wyong Council tree policy that was introduced in 2015, and the other was a new initiative to make the coast clean, to tackle litter in our waterways and our parks and our beautiful streets, and Bruce McLaughlin was behind that one. So let's start by talking about the end of the Wyong tree policy. Are you happy to see it gone, Barbara?
Absolutely. I've been telling everybody it's mulched.
Mulched?
Mulched, yes.
And what do we have in its place? Are you confident that we have a new policy that will protect our trees?
I see that implementing the Gosford policy, for want of a better word, across the whole of the Central Coast as an interim measure, and that I'd like to see some community consultation in rolling out a best practice urban forest management plan for the Central Coast. The Wyong Council had spent 2 years developing a greening Wyong strategy, which I've examined, and I've had a consultant arborist look at it. There are also some excellent urban forest policies across New South Wales that are already in action as we speak. And I feel that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. I think we have enough talent, enough documentation within council, both on staff and with committed councillors, and a community groups that are committed to working with council to provide a greener, more attractive place for people to live and play.
So you spoke passionately at the council meeting and you threw down the gauntlet and called across the floor to Councillor McLaughlin and made the promise that if he backed your greening the Central Coast measures, you would back his cleaning the Central Coast measures. Bruce, tell us a bit about your plans to make the coast cleaner.
Well, I've been a long time advocate of groups like Take 3 and things like that, and I've set up a little group called CARE, Cases Against Rubbish in the Environment, and I actually lobbied Wyong Shire Council a few years ago to enforce maximum fines. And in that process, I didn't realise that councils cannot set their own fines, and we have to be dictated by the New South Wales State Government. So part of my little policy was to actually ask our council to be a leader in this field and lobby the New South Wales Government for some change on that action. And what I see now is that we've had decades and decades of do the right thing, don't be a dumper. We can all sing the songs, we all know the campaigns. And I don't know how many millions of dollars have been poured into those campaigns, yet the litter situation is increasing. It's not working. You know, you only have to look at our roadside verges, our gutters and our drains. People aren't doing the right thing. They aren't dobbing in a dumper. And my attitude is, well, you've had the carrot, I think it's time for the stick. And
So what sort of sticks do you want,
well,
and how are you going to get them?
If it was left to me, I would say the $250 fine for tossing something out of your car that can wash into a waterway, piece of plastic and kill a 100-year-old turtle is worth more than $250. I don't think it's a soft crime. I think it's hard on the environment. And if you left to my hard line view, as I'm being told I am, I would see a tenfold increase to $2,500, and then our signage for an individual would be $2,500. A corporation would be $5,000. So when you walk to the beach, you would see a sign saying, "Welcome to the Central Coast. Please respect our beaches and our waterways. If you don't, the fine is $5,000." And I think that some people will do the right thing naturally, and others will do the right thing because there's a penalty to it. And unfortunately, there is no penalty to it. The enforcement side of it's not there. That's the other thing. The enforcement side of it's not there in itself. So I think, well, if you're only going to enforce a few fines, you may as well make it, strong message that we don't want people to just toss their stuff out of the cars and wash into the waterways and kill our marine life and our bird life. The plastic situation in our oceans is critical, and it's not something we can just go, well, we've got to, let's do.
So here we are, Barbara and Bruce. We're in the middle of Gosford CBD under a beautiful native tree. And Barbara, you were saying earlier that it's trees like this that have actually been removed during the 3 years of the Wyong tree policy.
That's correct, Jackie. And unfortunately, during the past 3 years, Council has made absolutely no effort to measure, monitor or count the number of trees that have been lost during this 3 years of chopping. And unfortunately, all I get is anecdotal evidence from people that care about trees in the various suburbs throughout the Wyong Shire. But I live in East Baddo Bay, that once upon a time in a far off land was the Byron Bay of the Central Coast. And unfortunately, my suburb's been decimated.
So you're very relieved to see the end of that policy?
Oh, absolutely. I think I've suffered grief for 3 years. Yes, absolutely.
And you've joined forces with Bruce McLaughlin, independent councillor, and there's not a lot of rubbish in this park. It's pretty clean, but the two of you are going to work together for a clean and green council. How's that going to work, Bruce?
Actually, Barbara came and spoke as a guest speaker at council on the tree policy, and she singled me out. She said, "Bruce, you want to clean the place up?" She said, "How about clean and green?" So I thought, I like that, Barbara. I'll come back to you on that one. So I actually asked her to come in today and have a chat and work on that sort of vision. I think it's a good thing. That I was quite happy with the idea of the urban forestation of the coast. I think streetscaping is a lot we could do as a council. Unfortunately, you know, the bigger houses being built now, the Little Weekenders in Baddo Bay are being removed with redevelopment and that sort of thing, and we are losing trees, irregardless of the tree policy. I think we still would have lost trees with the redevelopment of the small cottages into bigger houses. But we can look at replacement on, you know, in the footpaths and things like that, and things like that. So we've got to make some provision for it, and I'm very passionate about our litter into our reserves and waterways. I surf and fish, and I see plastic in the water every day, and I think as a region we can follow the excellent lead that Take 3 did, the local charity. They've gone from a small little voice in Baddo Bay to now a global organisation. They're a global organisation now, and I think as a region we can follow their lead.
So how are you going to help each other, Barbara? How are you going to assist Bruce with his clean initiatives?
Well, I've already started. Well, actually, one of the ladies that's in the group, Carol Martin, who has got qualifications in environmental science and is doing a PhD at the moment, she actually sent this to council a couple of years ago because she drives out to Newcastle University every day from the Central Coast, and she sees, like Bruce commented, sees all the rubbish on the road. And so she developed this sign and asked if we could change our signage on the Central Coast. So there's Carol, who's committed. And I've also been onto the website and had a look at some strategies from overseas that are working quite well. And the other idea I came up with is it's a very outdoor community up here, and we love our sport, and we've got some really good sporting identities up here, and I think we should engage them in helping to sell the clean, definitely the clean, and the green goes with it. But I came up with this idea of that we need to agree with Bruce about the fines, look at a successful campaign from overseas, engage sporting identities in launching the campaign, pitch it, don't ditch it.
I think we're very lucky to have community members like you.
Well,
so let's hear from Bruce about how he's going to help with the greening.
Well, if I can just go back to Barbara's ideas overseas, the most successful worldwide litter reduction campaign in the world was Singapore. They went from one of the dirtiest cities in the world to one of the cleanest, and they did it through strict enforcement of fines. They even jailed government officials. Now I'm not going to that extreme, but if you're looking for an overseas policy to work, Singapore is the one worldwide that turned an absolute third world landscape into one of the cleanest in the world. So
have they got lots of trees?
They've got lots of skyscrapers. They've got lots of people in a small area. No, I think they could probably do with a bit of greening. They could do with Barbara in Singapore probably. But getting back to the greening, I like the idea of the streetscape. I've always, I've worked in real estate, and no doubt of it, a nice leafy suburb is usually more valuable than something that's denuded of trees. When you drive down through Wahroonga and all those prestige suburbs and through there, they're very leafy, and people pay a lot of money to live in those suburbs. And you get into the outer west and that sort of thing, which has been knocked out, denuded of trees, and they're usually poorer suburbs. So I think.
So two passionate locals, folks. Clean and green, a formidable force to be held. Let's see what they can do together.